care about us. Cause times ain't really changing. I see no one that we can trust. And I just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Oh no, oh no. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Oh no, won't let me live, they won't let me live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Oh no, we just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Oh no, we just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Won't let me live, they won't let me live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live.
Okay, greater things is yet to come. Greater things is still to be done. I'm more like Bron down 3-1. My God crazy, he a 3-1, he the bomb. Read my lips, dog, Milli Vanilli. I'm the freshest Prince, Big Willie and Philly. Okay, new president, same God. That's the ultimate Trump card. We finna go crazy at the Holy Land. So crazy like Kobe fans. I mean, it make no sense, it's like the Oakley band. I got the Angels with me, I'm like Tony Danza. You know, already snapped off. And Malik got in the Mike Jack song. So all that's left for me to do is just to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All I gotta say, all I can, they don't really care about us, no. Cause times ain't really changing. I see no one that we can trust. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Won't let me live, they won't let me live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Won't let me live, they won't let me live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah.
Alright guys, new setup here. Let me know if the sound is all good. I think I gotta turn that up a little bit. But welcome everybody. How's it going? I hope everyone's week is going well. Mine certainly is. And I'm very excited to answer all of your questions. So I'm gonna go through The questions that are in the Facebook comments below first, don't post any additional ones after we've already started. So I'm refreshing my page now. Anything after that, put it in the YouTube chat to the right of the page, and I'll answer it there. I'm here to answer your questions. This is not an audit session, so I won't be auditing assets. But here's some good news, guys. I know a lot of you guys can't make these, but you do get every post that comes into the Indies group, right? Like it all comes up in your news feed. And you might get the events that are coming up in your news feed. So for those of you who are here, because it's not a whole lot of you, we have like 1,000 members and maybe 30 come to this, right? To get their questions answered. We'd like to be a lot more helpful than that. Right now there's only 13 of you. So we want to be offering this in a way that's more meaningful. So soon we will be actually spinning off a separate group, because as you guys might have noticed, the Indies group is not completely indie pros. But we don't feel it's right to just like kick out a bunch of people who have been there forever. And it's nice to have a place where people who have just got like one training can come and get their questions answered. So we're going to be creating an indie pro only group. Shh, keep that on the low though. Don't tell anyone else yet, because we'll be announcing that very soon. And then we'll be dual streaming Indies Live and Ground Reports in the group. And it will be searchable, which means you can go to the group and you can search any question, and you might find an Indies Live where that question was answered. So that sounds great, right? Tell me if that is an awesome idea. If you don't like it, say that, boo, that sucks. But let's get on to the questions. I'm very excited to answer y'all's questions. So first up, Thomas Irwin of Niagara Moon. It's crazy that the first question is Thomas Irwin of Niagara Moon, because I just listened to the Niagara Moon album yesterday. It's one of me and my wife's favorite albums. And Cup over here was playing some more experimental, advanced, songwriting type music. And I was like, I'm going to play Niagara Moon, because this music is intense. So guys, if you don't know your fellow indie Thomas Irwin, go check out Niagara Moon on Spotify. The album, I believe the album is named Eating Peaches. It is fire. The melodies in that are just fire. The songwriting, the harmonies, everything is amazing. So shout outs Thomas Irwin. Thomas Irwin said, new opt-in page in the works for an upcoming album. Trying one without any video first. Thoughts? So this is not an audit session, but I'm going to check it out, Thomas. So he sent me a link here. I'm going to copy that and make sure it works, and then I'll switch over to screen share real quick. Okay, so it does not work. I cannot find that page, Thomas. But if you link me to it in the group, I'll try to take a look, or you can pop in next week for an audit session. If that's cool. Or you can just type it to me in the YouTube. Or if they won't let you post a link, I will answer it in the group probably. Or you could type it in the Facebook comments, and if I refresh, I'll see it. Anyways, sorry about that, Thomas, but your music is amazing. Patrick McElhaney asks, hey guys, just recently joined. Longtime fan of the podcast and love the training. Would love to get your thoughts on the below. I am a solo artist working on releasing my first single, which was co-written and recorded with another artist. The song deals with dementia and will be released for charity mid-March to coincide with Brain Health Awareness Week, something that developed at the last minute, leading me to try to come up with a plan ASAP. I'm going through the training, however, FanFinder is normally for a live type video, but we will have a narrative music video. Would it make sense for us to follow the FanFinder method anyway, or would you recommend a different strategy? Any general opinions on marketing strategy for something like this? Thanks very much. So, Patrick, I think that, just in general, video views would be a great way to generate awareness about what you're doing, a video view campaign. FanFinder is we brand it and we package it as a strategy because it's a very specific, it's a video view campaign with some boundaries, right? We're trying to say, what's the most optimal way to gain a lot of people who know about your music and also have the potential to have a semi-viral video, one that really stands out as a tentpole pillar video for you? That would be great, right? That'd be a huge kickstart to your music career. So we typically will run a FanFinder or find a series of them because they're just great assets to have. But, let's strip away the fact that you're a musician for a second and just talk about, we have a business. that is going to be creating a product that is publicly available and accessible and inexpensive, and it is released for charity. The product is for charity, and the charity is coinciding with Brain Health Awareness Week. So it's a dementia charity. That's a story, right? That's a story that people would stop and listen to, but you got to connect all those pieces. So it's not just that you need to run a video views campaign, but you also need to put it in the copy. Like, hey, I would go for like, okay, what is the objective? Because with this, it's less of like I want you to be a fan of my music completely. It's also like, maybe you're going to be a fan of my music, but let's also all like, do this awesome thing, right? So I would outline that like in your video views campaign. If it's truly for this charity that you care about and you're going to be giving money to that charity, then I would create a video views campaign around that. If you're trying to get them to like go to Spotify to stream it or donate to the charity, like whatever, then add a link and make it a traffic campaign or a brand awareness or a post engagement campaign. I mean, even video views, like video views with a button works very well. So you can use this video views objective. You can use the targeting research, but go long on your copy. Go with copy instead of a headline. Go with like a long copy post that's like, follow this formula. First, grab attention. How are you going to grab someone's attention? If they're right for this song and they're right for this cause that you're marketing, how are you going to grab their attention early in the news feed? So the first 5 seconds of your video and there's like, I think 130 characters that you can use before there's a see more button on a post. So if an ad post is longer than that, they have to click see more to see the rest. That's how much space you have to get their attention. Once you got their attention and they click see more, you need to generate interest. Why? Okay, you got my attention. You said something that speaks to me or it grabbed me. I identify with it and I stopped. Now, why am I interested? Like, you need to generate interest for me. Like, why do I like pull the thread? Okay, maybe I care about this cause and maybe I do like this kind of music, but I'm a busy person and like, I don't know if this is legit. Like, so start to paint the picture for me. And then generate desire for what you're trying to do, right? If the desire is like, wouldn't it feel so good to be able to make a difference in this kind of thing, donate here. So like desire rolls right into the final A, action, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. So, you're creating that desire with like, what's the future state? If someone cares about this cause and they like this music, then the future state is that they could, feel like they're actually doing something for the cause by donating to a charity. So these are some basic things I would use to basically to market this on a campaign basis around the release. It's not an evergreen thing, or maybe it is. Maybe you keep running it because it just works really well. But ultimately, like, what's your goal? What are you trying to do? I would go with longer copy because it is a story that, like, it's not just like you're trying to get people's attention and get them to listen to the music. You're trying to generate awareness around this cause that you care about. So it's aligned with that. And it's a big narrative music video. So you really need to give them a reason to check it out. And I hope that helps. Glenn DeRay, this is an Indie Pro only group. Everyone in here is Indie Pro only. But in the Facebook group, there's still some non-Indie Pros. The problem with auditing that is that you have to kick out a shitload of people, and we could only do so much. And only being able to do so much is like selective, right? But we have some new data where, we don't even need the new data, right? Because essentially we're going to create a new Indie Pro group and then only invite the current members that we have in this member roster. And then we're going to invite everyone to this new group, and the old group will still function, but it's going to become more public. Anyone who buys a standalone training can go into that group, and they can have access to all of the searchable information that we've built up over these 3 years, which is awesome. And then pretty much anyone who wants to get into a situation where they're using our resources, whether free or paid, to better their music career and gain a little bit more skills in the marketing department, they can go in that group as well. So the Indies group will be that. The Indie Pro group will be where we host a lot of more themed content, because Indie Founder is an amazing experience, because like everyone's so active and engaged and on point there, and they do it for like 8 weeks, and it changes them. It makes them understand like how to really get after it, as Kenny would say. So like, you know, that's kind of what we want out of the Indie Pro group too. We want people to feel like there's a program here, and it's all based around like, what can we do to better our music careers? Not like so many ad hoc questions, more stuff that's like on message with what we're all trying to do at the same time. And I'm going through it with you guys, because like I'm starting up my shit from scratch right now. You know, like I'm in the recording process, but very soon I'll be in the marketing process with you guys. And to have this new Indie Pro group where we're all like on a week-to-week basis, kind of working on the same things, that's going to be awesome, because there's a lot of people in the Indies group now who are like not that. And we know that's like, we don't want it to be like that. We want the Indie Pro group to be like resolutely only Indie Pros, but it's a very difficult thing to manage, especially when you're coming in with like 1,000 members before Indie Pro launch. So I hope that clears that up. Kathy Van Tassel asks, album launch questions. In the action schedule sheet, day 2 of launch sequence, you suggest also doing a live stream. How do we address inquiries from fans new and old during and after this FB Live that may have missed the opt-in campaigns and emails? Is it too late for them to onboard? I don't recommend doing a live stream. I don't believe I recommend doing a public live stream. I recommend doing a private live stream for those who have signed up, which is what we did. But you could do a public live stream and then just give them the opt-in page and run it again. So you basically put a countdown timer on the opt-in page and you say this thing will run again in like 2-3 weeks or whenever you want to do it again. And then you collect new opt-ins until then. What a lot of people do is if they can fill it up, if they can get new opt-ins all the way up until then they'll just run it like concurrently. They'll set it up so that it can concurrently run. So that's an option, you know? So, or you can just put them in and just be like, look, it's going to run a day or 2 late, but you'll get everything, right? If you put them into the email group with the automated emails, you're good. Day 3 of launch, pre-order email to past customers. This would be same cart/conversion page that will be revealed at the end of launch, or a special one. Include past customers who opted into launch sequence as well as those who did not opt in. Yes. All past customers, send them the page you're going to reveal at the end. The cart page, the actual checkout page. Just send it to them and be like, hey, I'm going to be taking pre-orders on this. There's some limited edition stuff in here. Since you've already supported my music career, I want to give you first dibs on the stuff that's limited because you've already been here. It'd be kind of whack if like a whole bunch of new people and new fans came in and snatched up all the limited edition before you had a chance to react, but you've been down since day one. That'd be pretty whack. So that's kind of the spirit of that. Post-launch. You mentioned a bonus offer near the end of the post-launch email sequence, but my artist is a bit concerned about offering an extra bonus after his biggest fans customers have already pre-ordered/purchased right away. Thoughts? Can you expand on this? I think I made it clear in there that you actually do give them the bonus. You don't make a bonus offer and not give it to the people existing, right? I hope that makes sense. But I can review that. I mean, we haven't, to be honest with you, we made that training about 2 years ago. Album launch was something that I used to run at least once a month. I used to do it with people. And when we built our agency and Jack came on board as the agency lead, him and his team started running all the album launches. And they mold it to what they need, right? So obviously album launch has shifted. And really we're kind of getting away from this, what we want to get away from is this branded campaign, sort of like the ultimate album launch or, fan finder method. Fan finder method would probably never go away because it's just a pretty fire method. But the ultimate album launch is one where we want to rework it to make a training, which is on a schedule. And also, guys, you're getting all the early news. Don't tell anyone this, but we're going to be releasing a training schedule for the following year for Indie Pro very soon. That's something we've been working on. It's people should know what trainings are going to come out. So we're going to give you a full schedule of when to expect different trainings in the Indie Pro member area and other things. So also cool news. But Ultimate Album Launch, we're going to refactor into how to run a launch. That's kind of what we want to do with it, because you shouldn't be limited to thinking of it in this narrow context of like you're launching an album. You can launch anything like this: a t-shirt, a clothing line, a single, a documentary. Anything can be done in a launch format, because a launch is just a sales letter turned sideways. And for anyone who's not a direct response marketing nerd, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But what I'm trying to say is that basically in a sales letter, back in the direct mail days when people would send out direct mail sales letters to people's houses, it would be like, just like I described to you: attention, interest, desire, action, right? So those are like the 4 basic components of like a copywriting formula. People would write these long ass sales letters that go through all those steps. And a gentleman named Jeff Walker created this product called the Product Launch Formula. It's an info product. It's like a training. And it's exorbitantly expensive, and his coaching is very expensive, but he's famous. And, he sold a lot of these things and because it works. But basically what he said is like, let's turn that sideways on the first day. Instead of all in one big rush and one big reading of a letter or one big sales page, instead of that rush and trying to force everything in there, why don't we turn it sideways and spread it across time? Sideways sales letter. Let's do day 1, we'll generate some attention and interest. Day 2, we'll generate desire. Day 3, we'll reveal the offer. It's usually a $9.97 info product. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the traditional thing that he created. The reason that people offer trainings for $9.97 is because of that guy, Jeff Walker. But that's what a launch is. Now, the thing is that sounds kind of cheesy and weird, but what's weirder is that every company does this to some degree or another. Launching. It's like they use content and exclusive cool shit to like make the fact that they're launching a product an experience. Apple does this, right? So many, like, think about every time, I can't tell you how many products I've seen like 8 YouTubers review all at once, and then it drops the next day. And everyone's like, oh my God, I need to get this camera gear thing. And it's like, clearly that gear manufacturer hit up 8 different YouTubers. They had a plan. They had a launch plan. So I hope that makes sense. That's basically what a launch is. A launch is like, racking the deck. It's like figuring out how can you generate a whole bunch of attention, interest, and desire around a product before you actually try to generate the action. Because usually if you just reveal a product, no one cares. Steve Jobs' keynote speeches at the Apple conferences, those were the launches. All the developers and all these news organizations meet up with Apple for like 3 days. And then he walks out on stage in his sneakers and he's like, here, buy this. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. He just told you for an hour. He gave you an hour-long sales presentation. So that's what a launch is. And I think musicians can use launches for more than just albums. They totally can. But we didn't do a good job of describing that yet or how that would work. So we're going to retool it to be much more like a skill-based training. Ooh, hair lights. Forgot that. But we wanted to make it a skill-based training instead of like a campaign that you run ad hoc. Hope that makes sense. So the bonus offer, I can go back and check it. I can go back and check if that's the case. But I think what I meant there was if you need to, you can reveal a bonus or a limited quantity bonus that's only for a specific period of time. But the idea being that you're giving it to the people who have already bought as well. But any new customers also will get it, and it will run out. So additional scarcity. Product exposure ad campaign. The UK artist I'm working with leans more affirmation than grassroots, but due to GDPR, ooh, that sucks. Overdue list hygiene, etc. The mailing list lost about 1/3. Ouch. We actually get decent for Facebook organic reach on posts without boosting. 1.5 to 4.5K plus reach with 15 to 30% engagement. And when the bigger band he sometimes tours with shares, that can end up with reach of 120 to 200K, but engagement drops to 3%. Weird. So his warm audience is warm. The cold is not as reactive. We will run additional fan finder long before launch, but for the product exposure campaign, should we run a kind of hybrid campaign run conversion campaign, affirmation to warm. So here's what I would do is you might want to make your launch a little bit more public. If you've got all this warm audience and a lot of them have already opted in, you might want to run concurrent content that points other people as you're, because think about it like this. You're going to run a pre-launch opt-in getting process. Content's going to come out, right? Then in the launch, the people who subscribe to the launch are going to get some cool content, like the coolest out of everybody. But you might want to drip some teasers to the public to get them excited as well, and also kind of convince them to opt in. Then when you drop the product, maybe even in these teasers, like organic posts, you're mentioning like, hey, opt into this cool thing, because not only do you get all this dope content, but you're also going to get first dibs and discounts on something exclusive that's going to drop, right? And so you can do it like that. And you can make it sort of a public and private thing. Like the public content is a bit more teaser in fashion, and it's trying to incentivize people to get into the launch and become subscribers, because that way you have free guaranteed follow-up with them. Hope that makes sense. So I would do that. And then in terms of running a conversion campaign to warm, yeah, I would include your warm audience. Don't leave them out of it. I think we might even mention that in the training. I'm not sure, but I would use conversions. If you've got a large enough warm audience, include your opt-ins in it and then run conversions. Like as long as you've got a high enough spend, you're going to blanket that audience. So I would do that. I would run a conversions campaign. There's no reason not to. You could run a reach, but I think a conversions campaign at light spend might be what you're looking for. Okay, sorry. I'm going to get to the YouTube questions in a second. I just got lost in the YouTube questions. I hope that answers your questions, Kathy. Bad Camper asks, hey there, Circa. This is Fish from Bad Camper. I'm currently working on preparing our assets for the Ultimate album launch. I was hoping to get some feedback on my opt-in and fan finder video and ask a question or two about them. Okay, so you can get feedback on your opt-in and fan finder, but you should do it next week in an audit session, because this is just Q&A. So we're just trying to run through questions and answer things that can be answered with theory or with a knowledge of Ads Manager as a platform, right? Or just technical things. But in terms of design and assets, to get those audited, you're going to want to come by next week. Hope that makes sense. James Rich asks, hey, what's up? I'm launching my first fan finder campaign, and I'm wondering if I should have my video also posted to YouTube at the same time, and if I should be running YouTube ad campaigns as well. I also have way more than an album worth of music ready to release, but I'd rather release singles to build up my fan base. When should I be looking to release a second video and third, and so on and so on? Thanks for your time, and I really love this course, by the way. Very straightforward and to the point. Glad you dig it, James. What I'm going to do, because I'm kind of in your situation where I'm going to have like 30 songs ready to release, I'm going to do all of the above. Fan finder campaign, YouTube video, and then behind the scenes documentaries, because I'm making a documentary series on our YouTube channel called The Grounds of the whole process, but I also have a shitload of archival footage from doing that I can use towards my own shit too. So I'm going to put together a lot of the shots. It's going to be no editing, because I've already edited it for our channel, which is awesome. So I'm going to put together all of those into a doc, and I'm going to have that to release. So I'm going to have a lot to release, but I'm going to do that on YouTube as well. And then I'm going to run ads on YouTube and Facebook on all of it. I'm going to be testing out a lot of stuff. And then I'm going to try to release like a video or a song. I think it's going to be once a week. Like once we get all these songs done, it's going to be a once a week run or more. Like I might release given like a few EPs, it might be even more than that. Basically, we have 22 weeks to get the songs done. And if we do that, then it's once a week. Or I guess we have 22 weeks to get the first song done to hit once a week. So I'm probably gonna run once a week or like once every 2 weeks, So that's what I'm going for. And I'm not even trying to monetize yet. I'm trying to build fan base. I'm trying to build relationship. You know, I'm trying to get out there and meet people, you know, and figure out what they like and figure out what my music represents to them, because I know what it represents to me, but I care what it represents to other people and know what they like about it, you know, and learn all that. Because like some of the comments I've gotten back just from running fan finders on Sacrifice is like crazy. It's crazy, like how, you know, the music can impact people. And I just want to learn as much as I can about that for the next year. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go into debt doing it. You know, like I got this job and I can invest like my extra money into it. So I'm on a budget of like max 1,000 per month, I think. But like 500 as marketing or something like that. Or it might be 500 a month. Yeah, it is 500 a month. And so, you know, I'm going to be working on that kind of stuff. If you want to follow along with me, that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to do all of that, all of the above. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, and then YouTube videos and YouTube documentary series. Hope that makes sense. Alexandra Razumova says, hey, Kyle, it's been a while. Well, some things got done, and now I'm back to build our second fan finder. Not a lyric video this time. Here's the new one. The main problem right now is that we want to find local fans in like 50 miles area to bring them to our shows. We were trying to do that with our lyric video, and it's doing terrible. Last month, it only got 119 clicks on IG for $1.75 each, and only 708 video views of 50% on Facebook. Why in Europe, the same ad performs 3 times better and cheaper than US? Is it because our budget is too low? We're doing $5 for local ad and $5 for all other countries for lookalikes. How can we improve our local ads? We will be announcing some good shows soon and would love to be able to finally bring people in. Unfortunately, I will be at work during the live chat, so we'll watch it later, and hopefully you'll shed some light on this. Thank you. So, okay. So I don't... Here's the thing. I would recommend doing Fan Finder to spec. I really would. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, you should do Fan Finder to spec. You should do it exactly how it's advised in the training, you know, and do it worldwide. Like, don't worry about local until you have an asset that is actually, like, worth noting. Because then people locally will look at the video and be like, oh, shit, this is tight. This is local? You know what I mean? Like, if I see a rapper in my city who's got, like, 500,000 views... I'm going to be like, who is this, right? I want to know about them. And I don't know, like, I think a local push can start globally now. If even, you know, nationally at the very smallest. There are ways to build up local. I'm not saying there aren't. Basic Printer knows a lot more about that than I do. So if you can catch him on a Q&A session, or if you're in Founder, or, you know, anytime you can get a hold of Basic Printer, I would check out what he has to say on the subject. But yeah, like I do not think that running low budget local ads is going to get you a lot of wins in the next 3 to 5 months, because it's very rare for it to. Like, because you're putting up a lot of entertainment is based on social proof, unfortunately. But not just like blowing up your numbers and like getting shitty data, but I mean like actually people love it. That's what like word of mouth is one of the strongest ways that music and entertainment gets promoted. When people love something, it makes us wonder why. You know what I mean? And it's hard to build up a little bit of a local buzz if you're still trying to get that first seed. You can do it with like email lists at the shows and like start getting people's email addresses at the shows who dig your shit. Email them, tell them to bring out friends and build it, you know. But there's only so many shows you do in a year, and there's only so many people who are going to randomly ad hoc come to those shows who don't already go to them. And it's a slow way to do it. But if you run a Fan Finder to spec, you might get a video and an audience that's pretty sizable, right? And then all of a sudden, maybe your priorities start to change a little bit. And you're like, okay, we have an opportunity here to start building up our nationwide audience. Why don't we do that and then start finding pockets where people really are starting to respond to our stuff? You know, and then you can start to use your assets to blanket local. And when people go and click on your Facebook ad or click on your Instagram ad, they're going to be like, oh shit, these are local musicians. They're killing it. You know what I mean? Hey, before the camera, I am open to questions. You got to put them in the YouTube channel in this chat right here. And then I'm going to answer the rest of these Facebook ones. And then if I get to your question, I will answer the hell out of it. Got your back. So I hope that answers your question, Alexandra. I would run FanFinder to spec. Run it to spec and then worry about local. Reed Cameron Fox asks, hi, Circa. I've been listening to Creative Juice a few hours a day after discovering it in October and just began Founder. Awesome. Could use some advice. I run an artist collective DIY label called Moon Magnet and manage 5 bands. My 10-year-old project Décollage has lots of merch and videos. However, 2 of my other projects I want to pursue more. My original goal was to run all of the trainings on the label to create a vortex and bring all the bands along. Now I'm leaning towards doing it only for my band Décollage over the next year since it's the most established. I think that's a smart idea. Way to change course. And then I could learn from successes and mistakes, yes, and do the processes for 1 or 2 of my other bands next year. Is it best to put all of my ad money into one band or just the label, or should I diversify the money across 2 or 3 of the projects? Could you mention names of any collectives or labels Indiepreneurs worked with? It would be invaluable to talk to someone that's been in similar shoes. Indiepreneur is one of the most inspiring and exhilarating things that ever happened to me. Thank you. Thank you, Reed. We sincerely appreciate the compliment. So here's what I think about your situation. I think you should lead with the thing that is strongest. If you've got lots of merch and videos and great music and you've got a fan base there, start with it. It's a great opportunity. As far as using our trainings to build up a label, here's the thing. I don't know that that's a thing, right? Like building up a label. What does that mean? Like I know it exists in rap. It exists in EDM and production to some degree, a little bit, but largely it doesn't. The reason that people love labels is because they love artists, So like building up a label just means building up an artist multiple times to me. Like I'll give you some classic examples in rap. You know what I mean? Like DMX, right? He had the Rough Riders. Like there's not a whole lot of Rough Riders that people cared about, right? People really like DMX. There's a few others in there. The point I'm trying to make is that like if every member of your collective is not strong, it won't be every member of your collective that's loved just because of the label. No one cares about the label, I think the only instances where that's been true is like, the Insane Clown Posse. Like all of their fans love all of their label signees. They're all into it. But that might be entirely coincidental too. So like, I really think you're talking about building up artists. Build up the artist that makes sense to build up right now. And then build up another one. But like, there's just no need for a label anymore, in my opinion. Like, why have a label? What is the consideration on each side? What is the artist giving the label, and what is the label giving the artist that's going to make sense for each party in 2020? You know what I mean? At an independent level, especially. Unless you're like a independently wealthy person. And you're like, look, I just want to make amazing art happen. Here's a bunch of money. And just do whatever you want. Like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's hard. Like, it's super hard to build up a label. It's easy to build up an artist, though. It can be easy as long as it's sustainable and you've got time. So make it sustainable and give it time, and you'll build up an artist. If you've got an act that already has merchandise and videos and fans, you can monetize pretty immediately, and you can build a real nice little business out of it. And business has economies of scale, so when you build the next artist business, it won't be as difficult. That's what I would recommend. I hope that makes sense and wasn't too obtuse, because that's not my intention. Justin Wansley asks, hi, Circa. It's great as always to be here. I am looking to start trying to build some touring destinations in my state. I don't have any shows booked, but I'd like to try and build some state-based audience. Hopefully 2 or 3 places I can book a small run of shows through. Obviously, building fans is important, but I'm also doing it for me, for the experience. I do realize that booking a few shows that take me on a small tour in a car for a few days isn't always the optimum way to build fans outside of my immediate city. But that's my goal. I've heard you speak about how shows are not a big part of your plan for the year, and I watched Jesse's very cool ground reports on local shows, cool ideas on ticketing and promoting the show in your city, show-specific video posts. These aspects are not my focus. How can I use social digital to make a few data blips? A couple hours outside my city, up to neighboring states like Oregon. Jesse talked about using a fan finder to his immediate city for a local show. Okay, I don't know, because a lot of the questions you're asking, I don't know, because I don't know what Jesse's specific recommendations are. I would check out his ground report for that. But also, Jesse's going to be rebuilding our selling tickets for live shows training this year. So, you're going to have some advice there. I would catch Jesse on a Q&A and ask him some specific questions if you need some answers from him. My recommendation, man. My recommendation is don't worry about it, man. Get a fan base and shows will happen, that's been universally true for everyone I know who's done awesome tours. They got a fan base first, or they're like a hardcore band. And they just tour as a manner of living. That's what they do. I know a lot of really, bands that tour a lot. Actually, I know a lot of singer-songwriters that tour a lot too. My point is that if you're not in a touring culture, if making a record wasn't secondary to the fact that you play live gigs all the time, then your entry into the live gig world is either going to be through traditional means or through the largesse of your fan base as an automatic process. So if you really want to tour, I wouldn't use digital marketing necessarily to create that. There's tons of people in your peer class probably who are touring. Call them up, ask them questions, figure out how to hop on what they're doing, You can then, once you've established a tour, start trying to sell those markets. You're going to find that early on, especially if you haven't built an initial fan base for yourself, it's going to be very difficult to get people out to those shows. Oftentimes, it's going to be one person purchasing 10 tickets that's going to really do it for you. It's not a fun process. I'll say that. I know people who are some of the best musicians I've ever heard. They're so good. They're great studio musicians, jazz players, just amazing. They shred. And they make $50 a show per person. And they've been touring for years. They would lug it out to the other side of the country and make $75 a person. But the booker that they have always makes $150 off of every artist. Right? Isn't that fucked up? Wouldn't you want to be a part of that? That's the life of touring before you actually build a fan base. So that's why I'm not huge on it. But Jesse's strategy has been build up Nashville shows, I think, and he's killing it at that. If you're in a big metro, build shows, make shows. There's a live show culture out in your big metro. Meet the people who put on the shows, become friends with them, perform at shows, put on your own shows. That's kind of what his path has been. It's working out for him. So those are the things, all the things. I hope that they were helpful. Guy Forward, what's up, Guy? Hi, Kyle. I was really interested by your idea to have a membership site for your music career. You talked about having a recurring content in place, which is what I already have, a weekly hour-long live stream that my fans are trained to watch. My question is, what kind of content would you offer to paid subscribers? I don't want to put the weekly stream behind a paywall, and I'm wondering what I could offer to people. Some ideas would be great. Thanks. I won't be able to watch live, but we'll check later. Guy, sorry. I haven't had any Red Bulls. I usually drink 8 Red Bulls in a day. I haven't had any. And we're out of coffee here. It's a nightmare over here at the HQ. But anyways, Guy, here's what I would recommend. check out a client of ours, Dave Pettigrew, who we've interviewed for the podcast. He's so amazing at everything. He's awesome. And we've just built a membership site for him. So I know a little bit about this, but I would check out musician Patreons, because those people pay a monthly fee and the musicians give them something that they feel is valuable. So you can use that to source ideas, but we just converted Dave's Patreon into a membership site. I wouldn't spam him, but you can like quietly check out his membership sales page and just see what he's offering. Some pretty cool stuff and get some ideas. But really, you don't need like a specific thing to launch a membership, because they'll, you know, if your audience doesn't think it's valuable, they'll tell you by not buying it, you know? So I would start as simple as possible. Hey, one tier, right? One tier of support, low dollar. Okay. We're going to build it into 3 tiers, you know? Once we start getting support at that level, build it into 3 tiers. Be like, all right, people have been asking for like these cool things and this stuff, so let's build out more tiers. And that you can evolve it that way. I would go simple first, though. Make it easy for people to join. Yeah, $50 for jazz is decent. Exactly. Why would you want to go do that? These are amazing musicians. They're like rock, too. Like they're rock, but they're jazz trained. Some of the most amazing singers, actually, singer-songwriters have it easy because they can get paid like, you know, if you're a singer and you play an instrument, you can get paid like $300 in a night. But that's like in cities where that's a thing. Like I can't go back to Boston and like call up the restaurants that play music and be like, hey, I'm trying to come by and play a set. You know what I mean? You can check me out online. Like I'm good. But here in Orlando, like you can come by. You can call up like 10 different restaurants, or, you know, meet somebody who's booking shows in the city. You can have like shitloads of gigs immediately. So, but they're not out there for you. They're out there to see good music, and they know that this place provides good music. They know that when they go to this place, there's always going to be a dope musician there, and that's why they go there. So it's not your audience. But that's the culture out here. Anyways, Guy, I would source ideas from other folks. You don't have to put the weekly stream behind a paywall, because Dave Pettigrew has a weekly Monday devotional live stream, I believe. And it's not paid, but people become members off of it. He uses it to build relationships with people, and then eventually people want to support, which is awesome. He's also partnered with a charity, which is a great idea. Katie Thompson. Hey, Circa, I'm being asked to do some seminars on social media management for musicians, and I plan on pointing people directly to Entrepreneur. Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. They want to seriously upskill their knowledge base and learn for themselves rather than paying someone to sort it for them. What you teach is invaluable and can't be taught in a 1-hour session, and I want to give credit where credit is due. That's really nice, Katie. Thank you so much. Question is, are you planning on bringing back your referral system? All good. If not, y'all are just getting all the news today. It's nuts. But check this out. We're going to be building back like a loyalty and referral program. We bought Viper for life this past Black Friday. We got a lifetime subscription to Viper.io. It was only like $500. So I think we were paying like more than that for an annual. So we got Viper for life, and with Viper you can do referral and loyalty programs, which I didn't know at first. But I have it on Sprint in Q1 to investigate Viper's loyalty features and build out a loyalty and referral program for Indie Pro. So if you've been with us for a while, we appreciate you. We're going to reward you. We're going to be doing Indie Pro only giveaways as well. Yo, I'm just dropping all the science. Guys, don't tell anybody in the group about this, but here's what's going down. I'm going to be dropping giveaways for Indie Pros only once we get this Indie Pro only group. So I can't give away anymore. There's so much madness coming. But we have a full year of dope stuff planned out for you guys. So, yes, the referral system will be back. Katie, if you reach out to support, they'll hook you up with, if you're going to be, you know, someone's paying you to come teach social media management. I think you've been through Founder, right? Then just hit up our support and they'll hook you up with affiliateship, I believe. We got your back. Ryan Christopher. When doing my fan finder, it was heavily viewed by 65 plus. Yeah. It seems that Facebook then optimized the ad for those people, tilting my audience heavily towards seniors. Should I be advertising to 65 and over? It feels like they're never going to convert, but maybe I'm wrong. Only insofar as you don't want them to be the people. Like, if you're really objecting to that, then I would run them separate as ad sets. So you got your 65 plus ad sets, and then you're up to 65 ad sets. And you run them separately so they get their own budget. Eventually, when ad sets budgets go away, which is what's happening, you're going to have to run separate campaigns for 65 plus and under. But, you know, if you're worried that they're not going to convert or they're not going to buy something from you, actually, that's wrong, because 65 plus people will buy anything from anything they're interested in. They got disposable income. They don't have to work. They're not exposed to culture at the rate that young people are, and they're thirsty for it. They want some culture. And if you just be like, hey, I know a guy in Orlando who made $3.5 million in sales in a month by printing a Trump coin. And it was all 65 plus people. And he sold $3.5 million worth of Trump coins in a month. That's how much 65 plus converts right after Trump became president. And the funny thing is, they were all set to make a Hillary coin. They had the printing press or whatever the hell you'd print coins with. Everything was all set to go. The designs, everything. And they were out to dinner. Like, this campaign's going to go awesome. Media buyers, the digital marketer guys, they're like psyched about it. And then the election results come in and they had to rush back into the office and change everything out. So 65 plus year olds do buy. But if you don't make music where you feel like this should be all older people, then I would run exclusions. I would also run some Instagram only campaigns where you're likely to find younger people. It depends on what kind of music you make. Everything's context dependent. I would be interested to know. E. Rich asks, what if my lookalike audience is just way more expensive than an interest-based audience? Is there a good reason to wait it out and see if it will come down? I wouldn't wait it out necessarily, but I would wonder what went wrong. It depends on, is it worse than all your interest-based audiences? How long have you been running it? Jeez. How long have you been running it? You know, if it's just been a day, like, give it a little bit. But ultimately, it shouldn't be. And if it is, I wouldn't run it. No, there's no reason to keep running a lookalike just because it should be cheaper. Only do it if it is cheaper. But I would also wonder what went wrong and why isn't it cheaper? It's kind of weird. That said, Francine M. Honey asks, hey, Circa, I have another album ready to go, but I'm looking for advice on whether to release singles to my fans first and then a couple to radio, and how to get these singles to my audience of over 40s who aren't all on Spotify. How can I find out where these people are for my fan finder campaign? I really enjoy Corinne's strategy of doing a limited edition release to my super fans and then doing singles. I also did an album launch of a song a day for my album launched in 2018 and was wondering if there would be a benefit of offering that experience to my new mailing list members as an incentive, since music downloads don't really attract people anymore. Thanks, and I love that you are so process and sprint driven. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Francine. So, here's what's up. If you're saying that people over 40s aren't all on Spotify and that your fans have communicated this to you, I would then survey them. I would spot survey them. So if someone says, I don't have Spotify, be like, hey, I'm going to DM you. I'd like to talk to you. And ask them, what do you listen to music on? What do you buy CDs? What's going on with you? Because the more information you can get from your fans at this point early on, the better you're going to be able to offer them stuff that they actually like. So that's what I would recommend. I think it's smart. Yeah, it's definitely smart to release singles to your fans. Release singles to radio insofar as you get radio play. Do you have a radio plug? If so, release it. Release it on Spotify. I would recommend. Audience of over 40s. How can I find out where these people are for my fan finder campaign? I mean, a lot of them are on Facebook. Are you saying that only people over 40 like your music? They're on Facebook for sure. If you're saying that your audience is mostly over 40, I don't know where they are. You would know that better than me. You should know where they are, right? Like, because if your fans are out there existing and they're over 40, how do you know that? Is it an email list? What? So I'm a little confused by the wording of the question. But that said, running Facebook ads will yield you plenty of over 40 people, and asking any of them directly what they listen to music on will yield a lot of information for you. And that's what I recommend. Okay, that's Facebook. We got 10 minutes left to answer YouTube. So I'm going to power session this shit. I hope you guys are still with me. Let's do it, gang. Francine, looking forward to that. I'm glad you guys are looking forward to the Indie Pro improvements. I hope that they prove fruitful for everyone. I hope it makes a better experience. I do recurring content. Okay, so who is Chef Willie says, I do recurring content twice a week on my Facebook page. I follow the green light boosting strategy. The question is, now that I have found the best post that gets me the cheapest engagement, what do I do? Try running it to a larger audience that's not warm. So take your best performing fan finder audience, run it to them, and see how it performs with cold audience. If it gets people talking, use it to acquire new listeners and fans. Until it stops doing so well, and then shut it off. But keep doing this process. Like, if you can afford to now stack $1 a day perpetually on something that's getting you great engagement, do it, right? Spend your ad budget on it because it's getting you new listeners and new engagement. Unless it's like something that's not your music or has nothing to do with getting you fans, then I wouldn't do it. Kathy, wow, great info as always, Circa. Thanks so much. No problem, Kathy. She said, yes, you have conversions for affirmation, but reach for grassroots in the booklet, but we be leaning conversions. Thanks. Yeah, do conversions. We're starting to focus in on the creation of ads for our release, is Bad Camper. As I was wondering with my fan finder, is it better to go lo-fi or something a little more produced? Creation of it. There's a whole lesson on this in fan finder. I don't want to say that like you don't already know that, but if you didn't already know, there is a whole lesson on this in fan finder. It's called which videos work best. And okay, so I know that you said something up here, Bad Camper. So let me not talk out my ass. Feedback on my opt-in and fan finder video. Yes. So, okay, depending on your music, what you want to avoid is big fancy camera, work and big fancy sets and locations and big costumes and all this choreography and lights and, unless you can do something truly unique. But what my point being is that, like, I would say 90% of all music videos fall within this narrow range of what a music video could be. OK Go videos are outside the 90%, right? Ted Yoder in his backyard playing Tears for Fears on his hammered dulcimer is outside the 90% of what a musical video should look like, right? Be outside the 90% is all I'm saying. The FKJ and Masego, is that how you say his name? People who are younger than me in this office? Masego. I knew I had to ask them, these young boys. So the FKJ and Masego video, outside the 90%. You don't normally see these guys, two guys, create this amazing composition from scratch, perfect looped takes, and just playing every instrument in the studio. That's not typical, right? Typical is like, I'm on top of a building and it's nighttime and we're in a garage of some sort and I've got this like pea coat on and I'm like swirling around at the camera, and then all of a sudden we're in a car and we're driving, and or we're in an abandoned factory that seems to make smoke and LED lights, and that's what a music video is. So don't be that. Be unique, stand out, but watch that which videos work best lesson. I hope that helps. Niagara Moon, thanks for the kind words. Always, dude. I will buy every album you have. I will buy every t-shirt you have. All you got to do is send it to me via email. I am a sucker for Niagara Moon. You're the man. I sincerely hope you get as famous as you deserve to be. Your music is incredible. It's nuts how good you are. Keep doing it. Don't ever stop. Mary Jess Music. Hi, Circa. I love these Q&A sessions, so thank you. How much is Indie Founder and how do I apply, please? Thanks. Indie Founder is $5.95 a class. It's an 8-week class where you're actually There's a member of our team who's there with you, instructing you, meeting with you, giving you homework assignments, that kind of thing. It's like a traditional class. And I believe you can sign up. I know Corinne's going to have that link, but let me just go to where I know it is right now. Episode 119. So you can sign up for Finder at https:// https:// whatever, bit.ly/IndieFounder8, I believe. Yes, IndieFounder8. That's where you can sign up. And the next one I think is in April. I think there's seats open for April. If not, it'll say so on the resulting page if you want to join. I'm sure they would love to have you. And so, Who is Chef Willie asks, I want to create lookalikes based on my 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% views. Should I wait until I get 1,000 video views for each group? Or would I be able to start at 100 video views for each? No. Wait for 1,000. Before the Camera, songwriter based in UK. Successful session guitar career, mostly theater. Just launched a songwriter collaboration project. Each track features a different singer. No touring income possible. What are the most feasible income streams? If an ads manager... sorry. It's a different question. Most feasible income streams. If you're doing a songwriter collaboration project and you've got successful session guitar career... I don't know. It depends on how wide it goes. Like, who are the singers? If you've got like noteworthy singers, I would sell a record. I would print a limited edition record and sell the fuck out of it. Sorry for my profanity, but we just actually helped someone do that. So we helped like a jazz legend, modern jazz legend. It's like an arranger for like so many stars. I can't really talk a whole lot about it. But ultimately, we helped him sell a crap load of limited edition vinyls. And it featured some of the world's greatest singers, in my mind, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion. And we were very limited in the campaign. But if we had full carte blanche to do whatever we want, we would have been selling vinyls at like $5 per for a $40 vinyl. Could have sold like tens of thousands like that. So it depends on how big the names are. If the names are targetable in Facebook, just sell vinyls. If you're building up artists in addition to building up your own name as an artist, you don't have a fan base and they don't have a fan base, don't expect to make revenue from it, income. Revenue maybe, but not income. That's what I would say. So those are my thoughts there. Okay, and then you reposted that. Got you. Rock. All right. Glenda in the Essentials. If in Ads Manager the frequency reads 1.03, does that mean that during whatever range you are looking at, each person sees it whatever rate that range spits out? It means on average each person has seen it 1.03 times, yes. How could this be as our lookalike audience is 4.5 million with a $5 per day ad? Seems like a silly amount of coverage for such a small amount of money. Thanks, man. Brett. No. You don't want high frequency. That's not the point of a video view ad. A video view ad's point is to generate a video view, not to get a high frequency. You can run a reach ad if you want to generate a high frequency, but it's not. Oh, like you're covering. No. Not everyone in the audience. Okay, I see what you're saying. So here's how it works. The frequency is for everyone who has been served this ad, how many times have they been served it? Not for everyone you're targeting. For your reach, right? Frequency is just reach divided by impressions. Or no, yeah. Impressions divided by reach. That's what it is. So an impression is when an ad appears. That's an impression. Doesn't matter who it's for. It's always an impression. Reach is when your ad is shown to a person it hasn't been before. Reach and impressions. So you divide impressions by reach, you get frequency. Hope that makes sense. Hope that clears that up. If the singers have press on TV and film, go with that. Target the films and the TV shows that they were on if they were a prominent feature. That is it. Target them in Facebook ads, release a record, and target fans of that and say, oh, this person from this TV show and this person from this movie. Bam. Target them and sell the record. That's what I would do. Orchestra Gold. What if my lookalike audience is just way more expensive than an interest-based audience? Is there a good reason to wait it out and see if it will come down? Not really. I think I answered that. I did. Huge Facebook community, mostly over 40. Francine, your audience is on Facebook. Ask them all. You have a Facebook group? Oh, community, just like they're all on Facebook. All right, gotcha. Yeah, ask them. DM them. What do you think about YouTube ads for music videos? I think they can work very well. Def Note, I'm new. Just finished the buddy system training, and I'm in the middle of the fan finder training. I don't know if it's too early for this question. Can I curse in my fan finder video? They'll probably reject it if you do. I would censor it. Is it crucial to optimize your 14 interest ads based on the Excel sheet, or do I just let them roll? What should I change right away when I see it in my Excel sheet? There's a whole lesson on it. Whole lesson on that. Use the Excel sheet and follow the lesson. It'll tell you what to do. Shut them off. You want to... Oh, you're using campaign budget optimization. If that's true, just let them roll. You're all good. Unless you see any issues. If you see any problems where Facebook's giving budget to... There's a lesson that explains this. I know there is. And you know there is. But basically, if an ad set is getting a lot of spend because it gets a cheap 15-second view, but the 75% views are more expensive than other ad sets, shut that off because it's going to waste your money. That's it. Okay. I've answered these. I used my personal ads account in the past, but I created a new one. Is that bad? No, it is not. Did I lose all the data from my previous promotions? As insofar as you have access to the IG and the Facebook page that you promoted it with? No, you didn't lose any data. All right, guys. 3:02. 2 minutes after the clock. I almost got it. Hey, gang. Thank you for joining me. And you guys are amazing. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. This has been Indies Live, and I will see you guys next time.